In Kiss news, it was exactly 40 years ago tonight that I saw them for the first time in Rockford, Illinois on New Year's Eve 1982. This was the start of their Creatures of the Night tour that they started in Bismarck, North Dakota on December 29, 1982, so a couple days before. This is a 56-day tour that was billed as the 10th anniversary tour, and it went through the US, Canada, and Brazil. Opening acts included Motley Crue, The Plasmatics, and Night Ranger. While I would have loved to seen Motley Crue or Night Ranger, the band that opened up from that night was the band Shoes. Now, Shoes was a local band out of Zion, Illinois, and they actually had a 3-record deal with Elektra Records at the time. Gene actually tried to sign them to Simmons record label in 1988. I don't really remember a lot from them, but this concert was very memorable for me. And the latest Creatures of the Night box set that Kiss released actually has soundboard recordings from that night. In Van Halen news, David Lee Roth shared a solo version of Van Halen's song Everybody Wants Some. The original Van Halen track was released in 1980 from Van Halen's album Women and Children First. Roth had recorded this earlier in Hollywood in 2022. In more Van Halen news, Wolfgang Van Halen thinks he will always struggle when performing the song Distance. Wolfgang Van Halen wrote the song Distance as a tribute to his late father, Eddie Van Halen. Distance became the debut single from his band Mammoth WVH in 2020, and before heading out on tour, he admitted concerns about playing the song live. Since then, however, it's become a staple of his shows and a fan favorite. Recording sessions for Mammoth WVH's second album are already underway, and Wolfgang hopes to release it in 2023. Wolfgang is once again recording all the instruments himself as he did on his debut album. Cher and Kelly Clarkson traded tales about Willie Nelson's bus. Cher said while she was on Willie Nelson's bus it smelled like marijuana. Clarkson said while she was on Willie Nelson's bus she actually got a contact high. She said, "When you walked out, you definitely felt hungry." One thing for sure is by looking at Willie Nelson, there is no way that anybody would ever figure that out. All joking aside, Willie Nelson has to be one of the coolest people that are out there. In You Think news, Kim Kardashian worries that Kanye West is going to scare off her future boyfriends. You think? In Iron Maiden news, Iron Maiden have released a mini documentary for their Legacy of the Beast tour. The band's frontman Bruce Dickinson gives fans insight into the Legacy of the Beast tour, which ran from May to October of 2022. Iron Maiden have announced their 2023 tour dates as part of their Future Past tour. Taylor Swift fans filed a second lawsuit against Ticketmaster over the Eras Tour debacle. Earlier this month, fans filed a lawsuit alleging that the ticket company engaged in fraud, price fixing, and antitrust violations, and now a second lawsuit has been filed. In this new federal class action lawsuit, which was filed on Tuesday, December 20th, the group alleges that Ticketmaster violated antitrust laws and participated in anti-competitive and misleading conduct. The lawsuit says Ticketmaster intentionally and purposefully misled millions of fans into believing it would prevent bots and scalpers from participating in pre-sales. The lawsuit continues, saying, however, millions of fans were unable to purchase tickets during the Taylor Swift Tix presale and the Capital One presale due to a large amount of website traffic caused by Ticketmaster, allowing 14 million unverified ticket users and a staggering amount of bots to participate in the presales. In addition to the antitrust violations, the 26 plaintiffs also allege that Ticketmaster and its parent company Live Nation Entertainment engaged in fraud, price fixing, false advertising, and intentional misrepresentation, among other allegations. The part that really hit home with me during this lawsuit is it said that by allowing primary ticket purchasers to resell tickets during the Taylor Swift Tix presale, Ticketmaster represented that those tickets were being sold according to face value prices negotiated by Taylor Swift management when they actually were not. In other Taylor Swift news, Taylor has become the first artist to have a #1 hit on Billboard Radio Songs chart for the last 3 decades in the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. That's quite the achievement. In a recent interview with Billboard magazine, Ozzy Osbourne briefly joked about one question he hates being asked: what do bats taste like? The backstory to this, if you haven't heard this yet, while performing in Des Moines, Iowa on January 20th, 1982, the Prince of Darkness committed one of the most infamous acts in rock and metal history. There were times fans would throw plastic and fake toys on stage, so he mistook a live bat that was thrown on stage for a toy one. Osbourne recalls that he did what he always does when he gets a rubber toy on stage: he bit into it. Osbourne stated that he immediately felt like something was wrong. He said, "For a start, my mouth was instantly filled up with warm, gloopy liquid with the worst aftertaste you can ever imagine. I could feel it staining my teeth and running down my chin." He's like, "Then my head and mouth twitched due to the sudden realization that he actually had bit the head off a live bat." As for Ozzy Osbourne's future tour dates, those appear to be in potential jeopardy, as the singer recently told SiriusXM that it's been 6 months after his spinal surgery that he can still barely walk. He still hopes to be able to return to the stage again, hopefully soon. Live music and touring right now is not in a great situation. At the same time that fans are paying record prices for concert tickets, countless bands are also losing money on the road. Hakeem Broden from the band Sabaton explained how and why this is happening despite sold-out shows. Broden said a lot of bands have tours with tickets sold a long time ago that have been postponed. Those tickets are sold with a special financial calculation in mind to cover the costs. As these shows are rescheduled, touring costs have risen so much that even if a band has sold out a show, they're potentially going to lose money because of these increased costs. Recently, the band Iris launched a crowdfunding campaign to help cover the $20,000 losses they suffered from a European tour. This whole situation has been caused by the pandemic. Throughout the early phases of the pandemic, artists postponed hundreds of tours where ticket holders were told that they were granted entry when the concerts were going to be rescheduled. With ticket prices and other goods and services increasing in price since live music has returned in the wake of the pandemic, the original ticket prices are not enough to sustain the band's costs to do business. In new releases, Cheap Trick released their Cheap Trick Live at the Whiskey 1977. This has been an official release that I've been waiting for. Cheap Trick basically built their legend on a live recording with 1978's At Budokan. This album was a single LP that was taken from 2 Tokyo performances that really transformed this small band from Rockford, Illinois into classic rock icons. The recording was initially intended as a limited edition promotional souvenir, but it sparked a shockwave through Japan that spread all the way back to the US, where the official release eventually racked up triple platinum sales. So 2 years before At Budokan launched them into Billboard's top 10, Cheap Trick had one album that was commercially underperforming, but there was definitely enough word of mouth that was going around as they were opening up for Kiss on their 1977 summer tour. Cheap Trick needed to test drive songs from their next 2 studio albums, In Color and Heaven Tonight, so the band ended up booking 5 shows over a single June weekend at LA's famous Whiskey A Go Go. The shows were recorded with a mobile studio provided by the record plant. These tapes were put on the back burner once At Budokan blew up. These songs are released on 4 CDs and they sound absolutely phenomenal, as well as capturing the rawness that Cheap Trick had when performing live back in the 70s. Highly recommend. In guitar news, Nita Strauss said, "Anytime you're playing guitar, you're improving, no matter what it is, whether you're playing power chords or technical metal." Strauss is the former lead guitar player for Alice Cooper and is now with Demi Lovato. If you're not familiar with Nita, she's a songwriter, a session musician, a clinician, and a solo artist with a unique array of writing credits from movie soundtracks to the WWE. Strauss said, "Every time you play a guitar, you're gradually getting better each day." She said playing straightforward rock songs have given her such a better sensibility of song structure by not playing too much or adding too much, and she said these are things that guitar players do because we like to show off and have fun. She also said by slowing down, it's also taught her a lot about letting the song breathe. Nita also designed her own signature guitar. She said like so many guitar players, every time she got a new guitar, there was always something that wasn't quite perfect with it. She goes, "I would love it, but then I'd have to put different pickups in it or wish it had an ebony fretboard." When she had the chance to design the Jiva with Ibanez, she already had her dream specs in mind. She said, "I will only play my signature guitars not just because I designed them, but because I feel I designed a perfect guitar for my playing style. It's fast, it's light, it's versatile, it can shred, it can go clean, it can go rhythm, so it's my weapon of choice 100% of the time." I actually do have the Jiva Junior, and it is a rock machine, and she is one of the artists that exclusively play their own signature guitars, because I know some other artists will design guitars, but kind of you rarely see them actually playing them, so she actually stands behind what she stands for. Hey, those of you watching the video, I want to wish you a happy New Year's and thank you for all the support that you've provided the channel in 2022. I truly, really appreciate it, and I look forward to bringing you more content in 2023.